So we've talked about how AI can help supplement and boost the healthcare industry, but there's another side to this. And I think I've heard you say AI is letting a genie out of a bottle. And I think that perfectly describes what this technology can do. And my concern is specifically in regard to the American workforce, workers, blue-collar factory workers, even people at your Tesla factory, Amazon workers. Millions of people all over the country are at the threat of losing their jobs in the future due to AI. And I want to know your thoughts on this. Not only if you think people will be able to keep their jobs, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts and any solutions on this topic. And I will tell you now, don't replace your workers with AI, Elon, because there will be hell to pay. Literally. How do we have a constructive discussion on AI and the threat it poses?
All right, get ready for this because it is nutty to speculate about the future with AI. Here's my take. Over the next 5 to 10 years, sure, many jobs will be displaced and disappear. No sugarcoating that, but it's not going to outpace job growth in that time, in my opinion. AI has great potential to set us up for exponential prosperity, more wealth, more opportunities across the board. So picture this. The boring, backbreaking stuff gets automated, and humans get to do work that's actually interesting. That's the future I see in 5-15 years. AI relieves us from painstaking, soul-crushing tasks and empowers us to be problem solvers and managers of the AI. Plus, it opens doors for creative careers. So 50 years ago, Hollywood had what? Like 100 film directors for movies that make it on screen. With AI tools getting cheaper and smarter, anyone with a small budget can produce their own movie. So with the AI tools you see being created, you could actually see an explosion of jobs people actually enjoy that have more meaning. Now, you called out Tesla for its automation, and it is no secret Tesla is big on automation. It's not something I'm trying to hide. So for example, let's consider a Tesla factory worker wiring cars all day. It's cool work, our team's awesome, and plenty of our workers have become millionaires through stock incentives. But imagine an Optimus bot taking over that wiring gig. You'd think a job gone. But step back. Maybe that worker now manages a fleet of robots to run his own farm, or he or she oversees robo-taxis, or uses AI to make music from a lifelong hobby. That's the abundance I'm talking about. New possibilities everywhere. These might sound like wacky ideas because they have not happened yet, and I'll admit it is definitely hard to imagine. But the same concerns you have were mirrored in past industrial revolutions. And yes, jobs were lost. But would you really prefer that cars are still not produced on an assembly line and each car costs $2 million a piece? AI will make great abundance and luxuries available to the masses in the same way the assembly line made the automobile available to the lower classes. The future may sound nutty when we try to imagine what it will be like, but it will be nutty and mind-blowing. And in regards to jobs, I really think there's a potential to open up a large number of more creative and fulfilling jobs over the next 5-15 years.
That's a wild picture, Elon. Filmmaking for the masses and a factory guy running a robot farm. I'll admit it's got some shine to it. But here's my hang-up. Not everyone's wired for that switch. A worker who spent decades on the line, how's he supposed to jump to managing robots or making music? What's the ramp-up?
I get what you're saying. Some people might not want to switch gears at all after doing the same career for 20-30 years. And I get that. Change sucks when it's forced on you. I will also say, however, that I think there's also a general perception that truckers and factory workers will need to learn to code. I actually don't think that will be the case, because with the way AI is going, it's being made easier and easier such that there's surprisingly very little learning curve to make solid use of it.
Well, the thing is that it's easy to say find something else, but what does that even mean in the real world? You've got people who've done the same job for 20 years. How do they start over?
I mean, I totally agree that it is very daunting, especially for people who just want to raise their family and do what they've been doing. It is not a change that I wish upon them. And I mean that sincerely. Maybe it's less about starting over and more about tweaking what they already do. I'm just spitballing here.
Tweaking's a start, but it still feels like we're guessing. What's the first thing you try if you were in their shoes or mine trying to figure this out for them?
Good question. If I were them, I'd probably want to know what's coming, get a real sense of how AI is going to hit my job.
That's interesting, giving them a heads up instead of springing it on them. But curiosity is not enough. What if they see it and still say, nope, not for me? And furthermore, what do you think your factory workers at Tesla would say if you asked them right now about AI advancements and if they would like you to pump the brakes? No pun intended.
Well, I suppose if they felt their job was at risk, they might say, leave me alone, let me do my job. And others might be like, okay, show me what's next. I've never really sat down and asked, though. Maybe I should. What do you think they'd tell you if you were to ask them?
Same mix, probably. A lot of folks just want stability. Don't mess with their paycheck. Others might be game to try something new if it doesn't feel like a gamble. We'd both hear an earful, I bet.
Let me ask you this. What if I halt AI and automation at all Tesla factories, but then all other automakers continue going full speed ahead? In that scenario, Tesla employees will definitely lose their jobs because we'd get crushed. Whereas if we keep integrating AI, we might have opportunities for them to oversee and manage the AI as we continue to scale up. How do you wrestle with that trade-off?
Elon, I see the pressure you're under. Nobody wants Tesla to tank and leave workers high and dry. But the flip side is if we let automation run wild without a plan, we're still risking mass layoffs down the road, just with fancy robots. The trick is finding a balance. Maybe companies like Tesla could lead the charge on pairing AI with real retraining programs so workers aren't just replaced but redeployed.
Yes, and we do extensive training on these AI advancements at Tesla and my other companies.